Good afternoon. I'm Westchester County Executive Ken Jenkins, and today is August 4th, 2025, and this is our weekly update. This afternoon, we are going to certainly hear from Deputy County Executive Richard Wishney, who will let us know everything that's going on in the park system and everything that was happened over the weekend, and so many great things that we did have on such a wonderful, wonderful weekend. We'll be talking already back to school. Dr. Shalita Amler will be here with Pam Giminaro. I'll be able to talk a minute or so about all the great things that we're having with back to school vaccines. We'll talk a minute or so about the bus patrol safety enforcement program as we're getting back into school, and being able to see the kind of things that happen through that with our school districts that have been engaged. But we're going to start this afternoon with our municipal guest. He's a really good friend from the town of Greenburgh. That is Town Council member Francis Sheehan. We're just getting the pump from another town board member, Joy Haber, who's here with us in the room in her side gig when she has her town board hat on. But the town of Greenburgh, it has 92,000, approximately 92,000 people between the incorporated and unincorporated parts of the town. One day someone will be able to explain all of that to us. I'm just teasing. They have the 5 villages, and that's the incorporated components of the town, the unincorporated components of the town. It is just a fantastic place to be. They have so many great activities that go on. And again, it is spread out. It is our largest town in Westchester County, and there are so many things that happen between the villages, between the town, between the great things that they provide at the Theodore Young Center, and so many other things. So with that, let's start out with our friend, Town Council member Francis Sheehan. Francis.
Good afternoon. The thing about the town of Greenburgh is by the time you figure out where you really live, you're probably retired and you're moving to Florida or someplace else. There are 6 villages which are separate from the unincorporated area. The town board basically has governance over the unincorporated area, even though we do provide some town-wide services. I do want to also recognize the Director of Intergovernment Relations, Steve Bass, who is a former town council member, and Ellen Hendricks, who is a current town council member and was part of the previous administration here in the county. So it's not a surprise that there's such a great relationship between the county and the town. And I don't know how many of you remember years ago, there was a call for let's do away with county government. And that kind of died. And it died because there was really no basis for it. Because without the county layer of government handling all of these municipalities in Westchester County, it would be so burdensome on the state, and we frankly wouldn't have the personal relationships that we have as we do here today. So there's a lot going on in the town of Greenburgh. And of course, I asked staff, could you just give me some notes as to what's going on? And that would fill a day as opposed to a few minutes here. But I do want to mention a couple of things. A lot of people talk about sidewalks, and we're building sidewalks. A lot of people talk about affordable housing, and we're doing affordable housing. We're doing all of those things, and we're with the cooperation, of course, with the state and with the county. But what people don't know is that there's a lot that goes on between a municipality and the county, and with the state, and with the federal government. It's not sexy. You can't cut a ribbon on it. Like, for example, and I just decided to check our website for in the last year how many intermunicipal agreements we have with Westchester County. Whether or not it's providing programs for children who are at risk, or providing food for those that may not have food, or for after-school programs for those who need that. There's no ribbon cutting for that. There's no sidewalk you're now opening up or things like that, or things that nobody knows about, which is called the TRACS program. What's the TRACS program? It's one of those programs that we have between the state, the county, and the town where we share data. Share data. What a concept, right? That we would share information among each other. But that's in place, and that's part of the county and town relationship, and the state is also involved in that as well. I do want to mention a couple of things, though, because we are doing a lot with sidewalks. And frankly, more recently, it's not without controversy. We're doing expansions, miles and miles of sidewalks. And until recently, it was all a good thing, but now we're realizing that it may have some unintended consequences that we're going to deal with. It has nothing to do with the county. Now you smile again, right? You were wondering, okay, where is he going with this? It's what do you do when you put in a sidewalk that an elderly person doesn't really want, but it's on a main road, and now they are responsible for shoveling it. Right? So we have to deal with that. And that's what government does. We handle those types of issues. That's not going to be a neighbor-to-neighbor dispute. That's actually us trying to work through problems and work through them together. So are we going to stop building sidewalks? Absolutely not. We've got to solve the problem. But I could go on, and I don't know how much time I have because I could spend a lot. Dealing with the different issues that we have. But we actually have, going in August, we're building sidewalks. As a matter of fact, we're building sidewalks that is going to expand over a mile that will finally solve a problem on Dobbs Ferry Road, and we'll be able to get from West Hartsdale Avenue down to 119 with sidewalks. That is a major connection that we need. We also know that we're going to have sidewalks going from Pack Capone Road, which is Woodlands High School, all the way down to Central Avenue. Wow, right? That wasn't easy, right? Which side does it go on? Which side doesn't go on? And what's the infrastructure that we have to deal with that? I do want to just point out just headings here. We're dealing with affordable housing. We're dealing with the ADUs. That's coming up next meeting. We have a major solar project going on at Town Hall. What we have is going to be this August, it's starting this August. I'm just going to limit myself to things very recent. We're going to have canopies, solar canopies over our parking spaces at Town Hall. We're going to also be doing the same thing at Anthony Veteran Park. It's going to take a little bit longer because there's a bit of infrastructure that we have to deal with that. We have the Four Corners redevelopment project for the first time, working with a community group, deciding what can we do with those four corners, which of course is Central Avenue and West and East Hartsdale Avenues, and looking at mixed-use housing there for the first time. So we're doing it, which is also known as transit-oriented development, as you know. We have economic development. Of course, we have Regeneron, our friend Regeneron. But that's not without challenges as well, because they need a lot of water, they need infrastructure. You know, we have to be concerned about fire safety, all those kind of things. But they are a very, very good friend to us, the county, and everybody else. Flooding. Flooding is an issue. It's an issue everywhere. And I am not the type of person who said, don't worry, next time we'll solve the problem. When we get storms like we got about a week and a half ago, there's no solution that anyone can do. Most of our municipalities, almost all of them, have been built to what's known as a 25-year storm. We're not getting 25-year storms. We're routinely getting 100, 300, or what we had about a week ago Monday was off the charts. There's no infrastructure that can handle that kind of water. Does that mean we give up? No. Let's address the more common flooding situations, and the town is putting its arm out to the county, as you well know, is that we're willing to work with the county on the county floodways so that we can cooperatively deal with it. Why would we do that? because we're on the front lines. When there's a flooding, they come to us. So it's in our interest to work with the county as it is in the county working with us. I don't want to go on. I know you have other things that you want to talk about here tonight. But I just want to say that I am delighted to be here. And Ken, I certainly thank you for the comments that you made about Councilwoman Eddie Mae Barnes at her celebration of life on Saturday. She was a council member for a very long time in the town of Greenburgh, and she will be missed forever, as well as honoring her daughter, Wendy, who is the the acorn that grew up.
Francis, thank you so much. I'm going to steal our notes back, all right? Thank you so
those
much.
are your notes. Hey, wait a second. I think yours are a little bit.
Mine have bigger letters, Francis, but come back and say it because first the town council member on Saturday on behalf of the supervisor and all of your colleagues certainly brought remarks on behalf of an outstanding leader for us, Eddie Mae Barnes, and her celebration of life. You know, she was laid to rest back at home in Florida.
Right.
And the words that you brought not only were heartfelt, but from the town work and all the things that you mentioned, and we would say, bless your heart.
And for those of you who know what that means, it's what it means.
It was really great. So thanks a lot, Francis. And certainly that was town council member Francis Sheehan, who came today, certainly on behalf of the town of Greenburgh, and we certainly have some great Greenburgh residents that are here with us, other town board members that are here. Certainly, we have some representation that is here as well. Jewel Williams-Johnson is with us this afternoon and represents a good deal of the town of Greenburgh. Again, talking through the so many things that were happening in the town. Especially given the fact that there's the coordination between the 6 villages. Francis, thank you for reminding me of those. But talking about the most important issue, anytime you get to know the brooks that had happened, when we have so many of the tributaries for the rivers and things that have happened at that last storm, which I think was told to us was a 1,000-year storm, right? So much rain coming down so quickly, and that's really what it comes down to. There is not a system that deals with that, and as me going around the county talking about flooding in different places at that last storm, 287 was closed down. So all of us understand when 287. We always kind of joke here that says any roadway that has a body of water in its name is likely to flood. And we have the Sawmill River, the Bronx River, the Hutchinson River, and the Sprain Brook. All of our north and south, except for the interstates, have a body of water in their name, and they all flood at different points of time. But in that last storm, as Francis Sheehan was pointing out, in the village of Elmsford, which is exit 2 on 287, 287 was closed both ways. That means it was just a lot of water so fast. And forget about on the Sawmill River Parkway, right in Elmsford as well. It's just a nice dip there, and even though the roadway was just recently raised, it still was just flooded, and we saw some tremendous work from all of our emergency service providers. Certainly Mayor Bobby Williams in Elmsford, we had a conversation with him to be able to understand if he needed additional help, but he was on top of that with the members of the town of Greenburgh and all emergency services folks working together. So again, thank you for reminding folks of that and some of the great things that are happening from an environment perspective. The solar canopies happening at Veterans Park is going to be outstanding, but also in the town offices and doing those canopies makes a difference as we can help address some of the climate change issues that happen here in the county. But again, if I know it's like a troublesome brook, anything, again, our friends when we have our friends in Fulton Park and some other places, again, we're going to continue to work in partnership. So thank you for reminding people that people should understand, whether it's at the federal, the state, the town, the city, the county, the local, the village, the hamlets, everything. We're all working together to try to address issues. And the partnership we have Westchester's largest town, the town of Greenburgh, makes a tremendous difference for us to be able to move forward. We didn't even talk about Bronx River Reservation going right smack through the town of Greenburgh from the most parts, from Yonkers, Greenburgh, then hits Mount Pleasant at the end. Again, we have to keep working together to make a difference. And Francis is just so dynamic and outstanding. One of the hardest working, if I say the hardest working, I'll get myself in trouble with the other town board members, but definitely a hard-working trustee, board of trustee member, village or town board member that's been doing a tremendous job understanding the ins and outs, the nooks and crannies, and doing a fantastic job, while the supervisor is out of town on vacation. So again, keeping things moving. So thanks a lot. Francis, we're going to flip and change the script to something that some of our young people don't want to hear: back to school. Right, so they're looking forward to back to school, and what we have right now is we're going to have Dr. Shalita Ambler and Pam Germinaro to come up with us and be able to give us some information for the county's back to school clinics that are going to offer those critical vaccines at no cost to children without health insurance, as well as the Vaccine for Adults program, which provides essential immunizations for uninsured adults, helping to prevent the spread of serious diseases and keep our communities healthy. With that, let me turn it over to our Commissioner of Health, Dr. Shalita Ambler.
Thank you. Thank you, County Executive Jenkins, for making time to talk about childhood immunizations. You know, the beginning of the new school year is literally just around the corner, and I know parents have a long, long list of things they need to get done before that first day of school arrives. But ensuring that your children are current on their required immunizations, meaning those immunizations that they must have to stay in school, really needs to be at the very top of that list. Having your child vaccinated against childhood diseases that could potentially impact their health is one of the best ways that we as parents and grandparents can ensure that children stay healthy, well enough to learn, and in school. Because if you're not in school, it's hard to learn. I am sure that many of you have heard about the recent surge in measles cases in the US and Canada. The MMR vaccine can provide protection from measles, mumps, and rubella. Until just recently, measles had been eradicated in the United States. And as you know, unfortunately, we're now seeing hundreds of cases in this country and in Canada. The varicella vaccine protects against chickenpox. There are really about a dozen childhood diseases for which our local health department has safe and effective vaccines, all of which we provide at no charge. The Westchester County Department of Health has plenty of vaccine appointments available for families whose insurance doesn't cover the cost of vaccines, those who have no insurance, and those with insurance from Child Health Plus or Medicaid. No one will be turned away from the Westchester County Department of Health clinics for the inability to pay. No one will be turned away because they can't pay. If you have questions, our doctors and nurses will be really happy to talk to you and answer all of your questions and concerns. And so I encourage parents with no insurance who are concerned that their insurance or have insurance that they have concerns that won't cover vaccines, for them to reach out to the county health department clinic and to learn whether their children qualify for free vaccines through the Vaccine for Children program. This program ensures that every child, regardless of immigration status or ability to pay, has access to free vaccines through the age of 18. And we'll be giving out a variety of vaccines depending on the age of the child and the vaccines they've already had. So if you need to schedule a vaccine visit, we would encourage you to call us at 914-995-5800. I'll repeat that number, 914-995-5800. If you have private insurance, we encourage you to call your pediatrician to schedule a visit to be sure that your children have the vaccines they're going to need to stay in school. As parents and grandparents, I also suggest that you check your own vaccine record to see if there are vaccines that you may need as well. We also have a vaccine for adult program that offers free vaccine to adults with no insurance or for whom their insurance doesn't cover vaccines. And now I'm going to ask our clinic supervisor and our public health supervising nurse, Pam Germanaro, to tell you more about our availability. Thank you.
Thank you. Keeping your child safe is the #1 job of every parent, and making the time to vaccinate your child so they're up to date with childhood immunizations is one of the most important ways you can do that. Schools require a number of vaccines at different ages for very good reasons. These vaccines are literally your child's lifeline and can help him or her avoid severe complications from a number of deadly diseases. Vaccines help your child's body identify the bad guys, the diseases, so his or her body can fight them off. All the vaccines that we offer have been evaluated and tested over the course of many years, and they are completely safe. Please call us, at 914-995-5800 to schedule an appointment. We can help your child through the age of 18 with free vaccines if you do not have health insurance, if your insurance does not cover the cost of vaccines, or if you're enrolled in Child Health Plus or Medicaid. We also support all immigrant immunization programs. If you are not sure what immunizations your child needs for school, we are here to help and give you guidance, so please give us a call. Appointments are available at our clinics Monday at our White Plains Clinic, 134 Court Street, from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., and Wednesdays at our Yonkers Clinic, 20 South Broadway, from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. We look forward to seeing you there. Again, call us at 914-995-5800. Thank you.
And that certainly was Dr. Shalita Amler, our Commissioner of Health, and Pam Germanaro, who is the clinic supervisor for our clinics here, both in White Plains and in Yonkers, to be able to do that. But again, the real message is that for folks to be enrolled in school, there are vaccinations that are required for you to walk in the building. And it's so very important for people to be able to get the vaccinations and the protections. And as was pointed out, those are the shields that people are that are necessary for our young folks as they're navigating through the school districts, and be able to do that. And for those uninsured adults. And again, from an insurance perspective, this is a public health concern, and that's why the county government and certainly Dr. Shalita Amler and the entire team make sure that those vaccinations are available. And I kept hearing the words, the vaccinations are safe. They are required. It's in many cases had the testing that's been done through all of them. And again, I know we're in a challenging world sometimes from a data perspective, but the reality is that we had all but eradicated the measles here in the United States, and now we have tremendous number of cases moving forward with deaths that have occurred because of that. And again, we have to make sure to continue to do that for those folks with that have insurance and have pediatricians. Always here, as Dr. Amler said, being a pediatric doctor herself, made it sure to point out to folks again, you should see your doctor, your pediatrician, and be able to follow through on the recommendations. But again, there's requirements for school, recommendations in other cases, whether those, you'll get to the older children that they have additional vaccinations, the HPV vaccination that may be available for folks that have cancer in their history that should be considering whether or not to move forward on those vaccinations. But there are requirement ones that are done. All of us that are of a certain age have that same spot on one of the two of our arms from those vaccinations that we had to do when we were children, and we're still here to talk about it. So again, it is so important to do these things, and whether those are RSV for our young folks, especially in some challenging situations. Dr. Amler, I was surprised that she didn't mention today with the Canadian wildfires, with the health, the air quality things that are going on. Our Department of Health had said to make sure for those folks that are in challenging situations, if you don't have to do workouts outside, don't do those things. But again, if you have respiratory concerns, supposedly whether it's older or younger folks, once again, to make sure you're looking at your phone and you see that we're in that orange area, which is a dangerous scenario. So make sure to do that. But again, all of the health professionals that we have in our Department of Health, whether it's at the Yonkers Clinic or in the White Plains Clinic, making sure that you can get the answers that you need to make the decisions that are best for you and your family. But there's a requirement to enter into all of our school districts here in the state of New York to have that set of vaccinations to protect yourself for the other folks that are walking through the door. And again, it's not the question of the ability to pay, it's making sure that our public health is taken care of. So again, thank you all for all the work that you all continue to do and making sure. I know we don't want to say back to school, but we see the sales going on for back to school, so we know that we are getting everyone ready. And the truth is, again, on the days that they're there for the Department of Health, there's a push, and the closer that we get to the end of the month, before school starts, there is a mad rush to make sure those things happen, and we don't want to put our health professionals that are under too much pressure to make sure that they're able to get those young folks to be in for that first day of school, because we don't want anyone to miss that first day of school because they didn't get up to date on their vaccinations. You should also check with your local school district to make sure whatever that set is as well, but the Department of Health, as was stated, will help you navigate through that together. So again, look forward to for folks taking advantage of those clinics that are available to them, both here in White Plains and in the city of Yonkers at the 2 health clinics that we have, and we're going to continue to do that. So thank you so much for getting everyone together. We're going to continue on our back to school path, and we're going to talk about bus patrol. That's the school bus camera program that was introduced here in Westchester County as a whole in November of 2024. And there were various school districts that had already had contracts with bus patrol to be able to have those school bus camera arms moving forward, but we were able to move forward in this particular program for the rest of Westchester County and an opt-in program from some of the school districts. So we know that everyone is still thinking summertime, but we have to start thinking about back to school. And for the school bus cameras, it's really an interesting and a hard challenge, because on most of our roads, the school bus arm comes out on the yellow buses and says stop, and every once in a while you see somebody trying to sneak by, etc. And then unfortunately there's a fatality because of that, right? Sometimes those things happen just as accidents, but sometimes someone's just trying to beat that arm coming out. It's not necessary. Everyone should slow down, stop. And again, the roads get to be interesting depending on where you are in Westchester County. The road may be a large road like Central Avenue, but guess what? You need to stop going both ways when you have the yellow school bus that comes down in the bus stops. And the school districts try to make sure they're not on those kind of busiest roads, but no matter what, when you see that red lights start happening, the school bus stop happening to do that. So from November 18th through June 26, 2025, just to give you a framework of this. Again, remember, it's the school bus camera, so if you go past the school bus, that camera takes a picture and sends you a violation notice, and certainly you can challenge those. But think about this. There were 14,897 tickets across 897 buses mailed to motorists, and that was from November 18th, 2024 to June 26, 2025. So basically 7 months, not including holidays. So if you took the holidays, the school vacations out, it's really a six months. Almost 15,000 people received summonses through the mail. So for failing to stop for school buses with their red lights flashing and the stop arm extended. So less than 7% of those folks violations were from repeat offenders. So if you just rounded up and said out of the 15,000, that 10% of those were from repeat offenders, it still says there's a lot of individuals that are trying to beat that stop school bus. And again, stopping in some places can feel challenging. You think that you don't have to stop because you're on the other side of a Jersey barrier or something like that. It's still the law that you have to stop both ways in New York State. The safety of our children is not negotiable, and the success of this program sends a clear message that illegal and dangerous passing of stopped school buses will not be tolerated. Every ticket issued through our stop bus, our school bus stop arm safety camera program sends the message that we're looking out for our kids, and the drivers who illegally pass those school buses are accountable for breaking the law, even when they think no one's watching. Again, in less than 1 year, the program has been integrated into 12 of our school districts, with 7 more set to participate in this upcoming year. And that does not include those school districts, like for me in the great city of Yonkers, that already had a school bus program going on. We want to continue to leverage public awareness and utilizing smart enforcement tools. The school bus safety program holds reckless drivers accountable. We're trying to create safer streets and peace of mind for families throughout our county. The school districts that are currently participating in the school bus safety arm program include the Blind Brook Rye Union Free School District, the Croton Harmon School District, Eastchester Union Free School District, the Greenburgh Central School District, Harrison Central School District, the Hendrick Hutchin School District, Central School District, the Katona Lewisboro School District, Lakeland School District, Lakeland Central School District, Mamaroneck Schools, the Ossining Union Free School District, and the Tarrytown Union Free School District. And in this 2025-26 school year, we'll be adding on these 7 school districts, the Ardsley Union Free School District, the Bedford Central School District, Bronxville Union Free School District, the Irvington Union Free School District, Pelham Union Free School District, the Rhinebeck Union Free School District, and the Yorktown Central School District. And again, that doesn't count the ones that had the program in place prior to the county's authorization for doing this, again, for those school districts to opt in, like the city of Yonkers, so they have a school bus program that goes on as well. So again, the safety of our children is not something that's negotiable, and again, it's better to stop when you see that school bus arm come out, even when you don't necessarily see someone going across the road. It is for everyone, for our young folks' safety to do that. So again, don't be that person, because you will get that ticket in the mail. But more importantly, you're trying to make sure that our safety of our children is of utmost importance. Just like a vaccine, stop at the school bus when you see that school bus arm comes out. With that, let's turn over to Deputy County Executive Richard Wishney, who let us know everything that's going on with parks, and he'll tell you when he's going to do the Zumba class next.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. County Executive. Every week we do take a time out from normal announcements to talk about our nationally accredited award-winning park system. And here in Westchester County, we have some 18,000 acres of park system, more than 50 different locations. We're really proud of that, and people are taking advantage of it. And we want to just tell you a little bit about the numbers of people approximately that attended various places from July 28th through Sunday, August 3rd. Our pools and beaches had some 35,000 people. Our Playland amusement park from just Thursday to Sunday had 19,000 visitors. Golf, our golf pros are out there, or folks that want to be golf pros. They played some 9,000 rounds of golf in the past week. At Saxon Woods Movie Night, 150 people showed up on Saturday evening. We had a wonderful Heritage of India Festival on Sunday. Some 4,000 people attended that event. And of course, there were thousands of additional visitors throughout our park system. And for this coming week, just to headline a few of the items that we'd like you to be aware of. On Tuesday, August 5th, Park and Read is a program that's being offered at Tibbetts Brook Park in Yonkers. It's the Westchester County Parks Park and Read program. It's an enjoyable read aloud program in English and Spanish for children's ages 3 to 6. The event is free. Registration, although, is definitely recommended. That program will continue again on August 12th. And on Thursday, August 7th, the county executive and I do take turns teaching this class. It's our free yoga class, and that's going to be from 6:30 to 7:30. And that'll be at the Kensico Dam Plaza. You can indulge in this ancient practice that encompasses physical, mental, and spiritual disciplines to promote well-being and self-awareness. And on Friday, August 8th, we have the continuation of the Robeson Summer Concert Series from 7 o'clock to 8:30 at Kensico Dam. And the esteemed West Point Band presents something called Transformations, which celebrates music's ability to evolve and adapt. From Star Wars to Strauss, this program reimagines familiar works in fresh ways. Don't miss that program, the West Point Band. They're fabulous. And then on Sunday, August 10th, we have something called Animal Interactions from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. at the Del Bello Musgood Farm in Katona. You can enter any of the various enclosures at the farm where you will see, touch, and learn more about one of our animals. And that's for children ages 8 and older. And then we just do want to remind everybody that this Wednesday, August 20th, there's a senior dance party at Glen Island Park in New Rochelle from 10 a.m. to 1:30. And on Wednesday, August 6th, it's the very last day to RSVP. So if you want to participate on August 20th and show everyone how well you dance at the senior dance event, you must register on Wednesday, August 6th. Thank you, Mr. County Executive.
Thank you, Mr. C. So that was Richard Wisney, our Deputy County Executive, telling us all a smattering of the things that are happening in our nationally accredited and award-winning park system. More importantly, make sure that if you have an opportunity to go on the parks.westchestergov.com website, sign up for that e-newsletter. Dr. Shalita Amler tells us all the time walking around is fantastic, and out of the 18,000 acres of parks that we have, there's plenty of walking and free things to do, but also to make sure that sign up or download for an Android phone in the Google Play Store or in the Apple App Store. Download that Parks app. It's Westchester County Parks. It's got the nice green leaf on it. Download that. You can also see the things that are happening. It was very impressive with all of the things that the Deputy County Executive mentioned, 35,000 people going to the beaches and pools, remembering that Thursday and Friday it was raining, right? So going back and forth. And so both of those days we had some tremendous storms that closed the parks early, the beaches and the pools early. But again, so many people taking advantage of all those things. And again, it's your park system. Again, you can invest in those things and be able to go by and visit them because you already paid for them. And again, it's up to you to make sure to do that. But everyone says what great things are happening in our park system. We certainly had a fantastic program today talking about the bus safety patrol program, the bus patrol program, the school bus safety program, and making sure that we continue to let everyone know that there is so many things that happen, but pay attention to the road and stopping at those school buses when the stop arm is out and the red lights are flashing. That is your signal to stop, not try to say there's no one watching and can get through. Nope, there's cameras on those buses and they'll be able to see that. But more importantly, our young people and our not so young people that are supporting our school folks are taking some things, walking across streets, etc. We're trying to make sure our children are as safe as possible, and you can do your part by not passing those school buses. And again, especially in certain communities, you get to a place and you're like, well, do I need to stop? It's better to stop. And if you don't need to stop, well, you won't get a ticket. But if you do go through those things, you would get that summons. But more importantly, you can injure or kill a young person. Is not worth driving by like that. We talked more about back-to-school vaccinations, and certainly the clinics are available, folks. You should go on the health.westchestergov.com site. Certainly you could call 995-5800 as well. That came across the screen, and be able to do that. Talk to the professionals there. Pam told us again to make sure that They'll be able to assist you, understand the things that you need, be able to help address the concerns for the school districts, and for our not so young folks, for our adults that are uninsured, there's a program for you as well. Make sure you take that time to come in. And then we started out this afternoon's conversation with our good friend, the town council member from the town of Greenburgh, Francis Sheehan, who came here today to let us know things that are happening in Greenburgh, and they have just a plethora of things that are happening. The town with the 6 villages, the unincorporated part, which doesn't include the villages, but none of us will understand that. But one day, it's a great town. It's the Westchester's largest town, 92,000 people. And again, talking about the things that were happening at Four Corners, which still happens to have a couple of my favorite restaurants around. I won't shout them out because they didn't give us promotional credit today, right? Right at Four Corners, but continuing to do things, whether it's affordable housing, working on flooding, concerns for our seniors, supporting the veterans. At Anthony Veteran Park, which is just Anthony Veteran's name. It wasn't Veterans Park, but that's the whole thing together, but it's a good combination of both. We have a lot of things going on here in Westchester County. Make sure, again, to sign up for the Parks e-newsletter, download the app, see what special events are happening. You'll see whether the Deputy County Executive or myself are doing the yoga class, which a puppy yoga, you don't have to do yoga, you don't have to bring your own puppy, is a really great opportunity to do that. A couple of those are coming up soon. And the Zumba class, which the Deputy County Executive said him and Marilyn will be leading the dance corps for that's coming up for our free salsa lessons as well. So with that, I'm County Executive Ken Jenkins. Thank you so much for watching. Keep having a wonderful day, and make sure you take advantage of the programs Westchester has available for you.